Good morning, everybody. Happy Sunday morning to everyone. It is a beautiful morning out there, and we are expecting more of the same throughout the week. So, thanks for tuning in to Sunday's Morning Coffee. We don't really have a whole lot to talk about, with the exception of some beautiful weather in store for this week. So, we'll be taking a look at the global predictor, and there is a chance we could have a early freeze that is trying to sneak in there, and we'll take a look at that here in just a couple minutes. We've got everybody jumping in the room. That's one of the reasons why I do a countdown timer, to give everybody a chance to grab a cup of coffee and sit down, and we can just jump right into it when that countdown timer runs out. Good morning, Susan. Jordan, countdown made you hungry. I know this is a time of year where I do a ton of grilling, a lot of smoking of meats out there on the front porch. And football, MU came off of a huge win on Thursday, and I was actually in Columbia for the weekend training and stayed at the Holiday Inn Executive Center, and was there when Murray State came in through the door. They were staying at that restaurant as well, and of course they had a big ordeal for them. They had their chant song on loudspeakers, and they all were getting something to eat, and they were outside in the parking lot practicing through the course of Wednesday into Thursday morning, and then they ended up getting their rear ends whooped by the Tigers on Thursday night. Hey, good morning, Lessa. Hopefully everybody is having a good morning. So let's just kind of jump right into this. And what you are looking at right here, this bad boy right here, this high pressure system, is what has been responsible for our huge cool down that we are in the midst of compared to where we were last week. Remember, we've got winds that actually circulate clockwise around a high pressure system. And if you can see those little wind barbs, they are moving clockwise around that high pressure system. And the further this high gets a little bit over to the east, the cooler our weather is going to be. Right now, we're getting northwest winds here in west central Missouri. As this continues to move off to the east, we will be ushering in a little bit cooler weather tomorrow for Labor Day. Not even expecting 80 degrees tomorrow. So, and we are going to get down to the low 50s for the low temperatures this week. So, we'll kind of go over that here in just a moment as well. But this high is going to stick around with us for the week. So we are going to be blessed with some beautiful temperatures in the upper 70s, low 80s, all the way, including next weekend. Now, there are a couple storm systems. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring this out. There's a couple storm systems up here in near Alaska right now that is poised to maybe hamper our weather here in west central Missouri. Possibility of it on Saturday with some rain and thunderstorms, but temperatures are still going to be nice in the 70s for next weekend. And of course, we're still a week out, so anything can happen. But we'll be keeping a close eye on this weather system, as well as all the way over here, just to the west, out here in the Pacific, this storm system number 2. So, as far as the tropical, we are watching a couple of waves. Now, let me hit my hurricane tracker. We only have one out here in the Pacific. Right now, does not look like it's going to have any effect on landfall here in the continental U.S. This is out in the Pacific. If we jump back over here, looks like the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic, it does not have a tropical depression or tropical storm yet. But this area right down here, there's an area of showers and thunderstorms that, if you remember on the LRC, we were looking at about September 9th through September 12th, a possible tropical system that can affect here in the Gulf of Mexico and or Florida. And we are watching, keeping a close eye right down here for the potential of a possible developing tropical storm. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because if this makes its way up here into Texas, into the Gulf of Mexico, that could have a direct impact on our weather as we go into that third week of September. Now, the third week of September, we are looking at it to be kind of our rainy period, according to the LRC. And this is what the LRC is seeing. It is seeing a tropical disturbance coming up here into the coast of Texas and then making its way up into the Midwest, posing a possible flooding scenario here in the Midwest and maybe including West Central Missouri. But we are still a week and a half to 2 weeks away right now. But the LRC has been predicting all the way back since January is when the first tropical forecast came out, and it showed September 9th through September 12th of a system that is going to be affecting the Gulf of Mexico. So we also, last week, we took a look at the Bahamas and over here near Miami, Florida, and it was showing anywhere between 8 to 10 inches of rainfall starting on September 9th. So we could possibly have two systems, or this system here come up into the Gulf of Mexico, and depending on exactly how fast that this low pressure system all the way out here in Alaska gets over here, it could push it back over to the east across Florida. So we've got a lot to look for. A lot of things to watch here over the next couple of weeks, because tropical systems do very often affect our weather right here in West Central Missouri. So, boy, I'm loving the cooler weather too, Lisa. Man, this is my kind of weather. Football and temperatures in the 70s. This is definitely something I look forward to each and every year. Yes, sir. Absolutely, Alan. You do owe me lunch, and I am ready anytime, baby. Anytime. Free lunch. I am ready. So let's just take a quick look for the rest of Labor Day weekend. Let's take a look at that forecast, and then let's jump over to the global predictor, and we can take a look at a couple of key points that I want to make according to the LRC. So for the rest of today and tomorrow, let's jump over here to our forecast. And of course, this morning it was very damp. We had a little bit of fog this morning, almost like a perfect fall morning. So we are going for a high of 87 today, and then we're going to be dipping down to 55 degrees tonight. And then for Labor Day, we are looking at 78 degrees for the high. It is going to be absolutely beautiful for Labor Day. And take a look at that low for tomorrow night. 53 degrees. So when everybody gets up Tuesday morning to get the kids onto the bus and get ready for work, just remember you're probably gonna need a jacket. on Tuesday morning coming out of the house. So just absolutely gorgeous weather. We are going to be continuing up to those upper 70s, low 80s all the way throughout next weekend. But we are still going to be looking at a chance or two of some precipitation coming in, maybe Friday night into Saturday. So that is, and again, we are trying to predict something where it's going to fall all the way up here near Alaska here over the next 5 or 6 days. And again, yeah, you guys have to remember, when we're forecasting, this is the globe, and we are watching storm systems all the way over here in Russia, dropping down through Alaska, and then down into North America and the United States. And as we get closer to winter, we have to take a look at these storm systems out here in the Pacific and up near Russia, as well as up here in northern Canada. We're going to see, we have to find out how these systems are going to jump into the jet stream and how they're going to react to another system coming in off of the Pacific. And then that gives us what we are going to get all the way down here into the great state of Missouri. So a lot of things to look for as we head into winter. And speaking of winter and colder temperatures, let's take a look at the global predictor. Kayla, hello from Smithton. Well, hello from Clinton. So we're looking at the global predictor, and of course, we've done lots and lots of discussions on the global predictor here over the last 10, 12 months. What an incredible tool. Remember, the global predictor is now available on Apple and Android and desktop. It's relatively inexpensive for an app. It's $5.99 a month. And you can go right to weather2020.com and be able to pick up the desktop version, or go to iTunes or Google Play Store, and you can pick up the global predictor and have the 10 months of forecast right there at your fingertips. So, this is incredible technology, and they have just recently updated Weather 2020 platform, and this is great for us here at Subby's Weather Talk. Remember, we are a corporate sponsor of Weather 2020, so now I have all the tools at my disposal, right at my fingertips, and I can go up here to products, and there is my dashboard, and I can jump over to my dashboard. You guys remember seeing a lot of these visuals that I have used and pictures I have used, and this really gets down to the nitty gritty. They take all the information from this dashboard and they compile all of this into the global predictor. So this is a great tool to have if you do a lot of outdoor, say, camping, if you have an outdoor event coming up, a birthday, a wedding, if you're going fishing trip, golf trip, any of that. This is great information, and you can go anywhere around the world and find a forecast out. Now, this is one thing to keep in mind. We are getting closer and closer to the new LRC to be setting up. This model sets up around October 6th is the first day of the new cycle, and it coincides with the day that up in the North Pole, where they get zero sunlight for the day. It coincides with that particular day, is when the new LRC model sets up. So, any forecasts beyond October 6th, even though the global predictor and the dashboard updates daily and they constantly add that new data, it's not quite as accurate after October 6th because we have a new LRC that is setting up in October. So that's one thing to kind of keep in mind. Typically, it is set in stone by the first week of December. We will come out with our winter forecast at that time, and that is going to hold the same pattern all the way through to the following October 6th. So, just very excited to see what 2025 has in store for West Central Missouri. So, lucky. Oh, morning from the east side. I can tell you, man, we're hip hopping over here on the west side. So, I've got this focus in right now on Henry County. And of course, we're going to be going through fantastic weather this week, all the way through next weekend, and in part of from the week from the 9th through the 13th. Now, one thing that's very important is the fact that we have that tropical storm that the LRC has predicted that we are starting to see sign down in the Gulf of Mexico. That can change our outlook for, especially from the 7th, 8th, all the way through to about the 12th or 13th. And it could hold up a storm system to our west, hold up a change weather, kind of depending on how that tropical system comes up from the Gulf of Mexico. So we'll be keeping a very close eye on that. But right now, after that cool down, we are expecting a warm up, a relatively hot warm up for the right around the 3rd and 4th week of September. As you can see here, we're looking at temperatures back up into the upper 80s to low 90s, all the way through to around the 28th of September, and then we have a cool down. But one thing I want you guys to take a look at is some of these October temperatures. Take a look at some of these temperatures coming up for October. So the first week we're about average, right around the mid 70s, all the way through the 3rd and 4th week of October. And look at some of these are high temperatures. So on my birthday, so I will give you guys an address if you guys want to send your weatherman a birthday gift. I am more than happy to accept gifts. Some people, oh no, just send cards. Oh no, I like gifts. On my birthday, on October 16th, we are looking at a high of 59 degrees, 60 on the 17th, 67 on the 18th, and we're back down into the low 60s again for that 3rd week of October. And then right now, it's looking like Halloween, 71 degrees, just a little bit above average for October. And let's take a look at precipitation. And right now, Halloween looks dry, so 71 degrees and dry conditions here in Henry County for Halloween. But we do have a storm system that will come in toward that end of the month from the 22nd through the 28th. Right now is showing a couple of inches of rainfall potential for that almost last week of October. Now take a look at the low temperatures for October for Henry County, and you notice we are getting awfully close, right around that 16th, 17th, to get down to to the freeze level, down to 32 degrees. So we're creeping awfully close. So it's definitely something to be keeping a close eye on as we go into October. I mean, that's, if it cooled down just a couple more degrees, we could be looking at a freeze, a very early freeze in the middle of October. So let's jump over here to November. And we've got a beautiful November setting up where we have 70s. We do get a cold front move through around the 13th that will last all the way, looks like, to the week prior to Thanksgiving. We will have mid 50s. And as far as the low temperatures, right now looks like that last day of November, we could be seeing temperatures right around or below freezing. So November 30th right now is targeted to be our first freeze. But remember what I just said a little bit earlier. Of course, this is going to be after October 6th. So things are going to be maybe a little bit wacky during that transition period into the new LRC pattern. So we will have to kind of wait and see and fine tune as we go forward. Kayla, November 14th through 19th. Tyler, Texas. Excellent. Let's go to Tyler, Texas. That is southeast of Dallas. There's Tyler. All right, we're 14 through 19. So actually, you guys are going to be feeling that same effect of that cold snap, that second week of November. So right now, the temperatures look fairly nice down in Tyler, Texas. Mid 60s to low 70s, all the way through the 19th for Tyler, Texas. Now let's take a look at low temperatures. Pretty much right around the mid to upper 40s for the low temperatures. And precipitation 14th through the 19th. Right now there's a system that's going to be affecting us here in Missouri and Texas. Looks like coming in the 9th through right around the 14th. So you'll be coming in right at the tail end of that system. But really after that, it looks dry all the way through the 19th. So actually, it looked like, yeah, it's going to be a pretty good trip, especially down into Texas. Beautiful weather had you right now, according to the LRC. But you'll probably, as we get a little closer and we get beyond October 6th, let's take another look at this and see if the new LRC cycle is going to be affecting the forecast for Tyler, Texas. But right now, it's looking beautiful for that trip for you. So one thing I want to bring to your all's attention, I finished up a podcast last night with the executive director of Torcon, and of course Torcon is a nationwide group. I am CEO and director of the Southern Plains branch of that company. We had our executive director in last night, and we had a pretty long discussion that I will be putting out on a podcast likely Tuesday. And what this pertains to is that as of June 1st, the National Weather Service ran out of money. And one of the first things that they had to pull, unfortunately, was for the maintenance and upkeep and for new outdoor tornado sirens. So the federal government cut their funding for 2024 that included that particular item. So here on out, for the rest of 2024, it is going to be up to local governments, cities, rural areas. They are on their own for the upkeep and for the maintenance of tornado sirens. And I'll tell you what, guys, it is very, very expensive for this to happen. While I was down in my training, we had several vendors down in an open area that was showing off some of their technology for emergency managers, first responders, and of course they had several companies that represented the outdoor tornado sirens and outdoor alerts. And some of these systems, they're hundreds of thousands of dollars to purchase new. And then, of course, the upkeep, if the motor that spins up in that tornado siren, if that thing goes down, you're instantly looking at a $30,000-$40,000 motor. These small communities cannot afford it. That's it wasn't expected. It's not built into the budgets, and these small communities they just they're just going to let them go. And we have to have outdoor tornado sirens. I mean, the reasoning the federal government gave this was the fact that we are going digital and that everybody has an app on their phone. We have the WEA messages when there's a tornado warning automatically comes to our phone. We're watching TV and we're not utilizing the outdoor sirens. Well, I call bunk on that because we have the elderly communities. We have people without smartphones, and then we have people with smartphones that don't know how to use that technology. And I think Jason, he was the one that I spoke with, the executive director of Torcon, and he said, it says his mother, that lives an hour and a half away from him, had a severe thunderstorm warning alert jump onto her phone, and she didn't know how to turn it off. And so he had to drive an hour and a half to shut that warning off of her phone. I mean, we take for granted, say even my age, middle age, all the way down and into the teens. Everybody pretty much got a pretty good concept of cell phones and how they operate and can move around a cell phone pretty easy. But there are thousands and thousands of other people that do not. And this is something that we have heard for generations after generations. Everybody knows what the tornado sirens are, and they can relate to it. They know exactly what that is. Outdoor events, you got to have outdoor tornado sirens. This is just something that is imperative that we are going to have to. We're gonna have to do some kicking and screaming to our congressmen, to our senators, and try to get that funding back for 2025. So that podcast is going to be available on Tuesday. I encourage all of you guys to listen to this podcast and let's act on this. We have got to get funding back to the National Weather Service so that they can help us get the money that is needed for the upkeep maintenance of these outdoor tornado sirens. So it's kind of out of their hands right now, and hopefully, cross our fingers, 2025 rolls around and they will receive the funding back again. So right now we're on our own. So I know myself and our director of emergency management, we're scoping out every grant, every dollar we can to try to take care of our local community in case there is an issue with the outdoor sirens. So, and again, the outdoor sirens are not meant to wake people up in the middle of the night, but we have got to have multiple means to be able to receive warnings. Tornado sirens are made for those that are outside, for those that might be traveling through town. You can hear the tornado sirens if you're in the car with the windows rolled up, with the radio on. If you drive past a tornado siren, you can hear them. And we have to have multiple means to be able to receive these warnings, and I think outdoor sirens is very, very critical part of that. So we still need to have apps on our phone. Everybody still needs a weather radio. But as you guys know, we went through several periods over the spring and into the summer where we had faulty technology. National Weather Service tower went down in Shawnee Mound. What happens if we lose power? What happens if your phone is dead? What happens if you don't know how to operate your smartphone? I mean, the list goes on and on. This is a staple of the communities that we have to keep intact. So be on the lookout for that podcast coming out on Tuesday, and give it a listen and share it. I'm gonna have it. We're gonna have it on all of our social media platforms. You can go to mykdkd.com and click on the weather tab. Matter of fact, let's just do that here real quick just to show you. mykdkd.com. And you can jump over here to the weather tab. And there you have Weather Talk Podcast, the weather blog. We got a list of our storm shelters, storm track weather, sky track weather, closing and delays, in which we will be getting into that a little bit more as we go into the winter time frame. But you can go right down to the podcast and jump right into the podcast on our website on subbiesweathertalk.com. Right from the homepage, just scroll down just a little bit. Look at there, Subbies Weather Podcast. There you can listen to the podcasts, and you can listen to all of my other podcasts that I have available. So that will be updating on Tuesday with our new series on the National Weather Service and the tornado sirens. So please jump on there and listen, share it. You can also, we talk about this on the podcast as well, but remember, you can go to our Tourcon weather team webpage. That's tourconwxteam.com. And we are actually going to have that podcast right here on, right on the homepage. So we have several different avenues that we are going to try to push this podcast out to try to get as many people as we can to share it and start talking to our congressmen, our representatives, our senators. Call them, write them, email them, however we can to try to get that change for 2025. All right, does anybody else have, now that I went on my rant, it's something, these outdoor tornado sirens, I'm still floored by the fact that they have cut the funding, thinking that everybody is digital now, and we got to have those outdoor sirens. Anybody else have another place they want to take a look at across the country, or maybe taking a trip to Cancun to get out of the winter season golf tournament? We can sure take a look at it. All right, so just a recap. Let's take a look for our forecast for the rest of the weekend. And today we are looking for a high of 87 degrees with a beautiful low of 55. And then for Labor Day, for Monday, we are going to be looking at the high of 78. It's not even going to hit 80 degrees. 78 for the high, 53 degrees for the low on Labor Day. So getting the kids ready for school Tuesday morning. and getting yourself ready for that dreaded day back to work, let's make sure that they are prepared and have a jacket, because I have a feeling we are going to need a jacket for Tuesday morning. Gary, your annual elk hunt in Montana the last week of October, we're at in Montana, Gary. If you want to tell me the town, we'll go jump over to it. We'll take a look. Well, my sissy, thank you for the super sticker on YouTube. Thank you so much. And again, anything that I get is so welcomed here at Subby's Weather Talk. And again, I do all of my software and of course internet expenses, everything. It comes out of my own pocket, and so any help is greatly appreciated. Thank you, sis. All right, so that's in Wisdom, Montana. Let's see here. Trying to get a good idea of where that bad boy is. Yep, or Jackson. All right, so let's jump over here. See if I can find it. One thing that would be nice that I will mention to them is it would be nice to have a search for cities on the Weather 2020 Global Predictor app. That would be nice. Must be getting close. There's Missoula. Way down south of Missoula. Well, I can't find that sucker to save my soul. Let's see here. I'm going to find it, Gary. Give me just a second here. Try to find their Jackson. Find some. Wait, you're out there in the middle of nowhere, buddy. Southwest of Anaconda. So southwest of Anaconda. That puts you right in here. Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Southwest of Anaconda. You're gonna be right in this area somewhere. We're just gonna pick this point. Well, look at that. Wisdom. Man, I'm a lucky guy. I just happened to pick a point and it's right smack dab on Wisdom, Montana. I'll never be able to do that ever again. All right, so we are November 14th through 19th. So the way it looks right now, temperature-wise, you're going to be hovering right around the mid-30s. Great hunting weather. Mid-30s for the highs. Let's take a look at the low temperatures. Ooh, chilly. You're going to be in the mid to upper teens, Gary. So, looked like from 9 degrees all the way up to right around 18 degrees is going to be the average during that week. Now let's look at precipitation. Oof. That's good. That's good news. No no rainfall during that time, according to the LRC. However, it looked like snowfall potential on the 16th, 17th, and 18th of November. So, looks like you'll have kind of a combination. You're definitely going to have cold temperatures. And maybe the last couple days of your hunt, maybe you'd be able to hunt over some snowpack, which would be cool. It makes a beautiful scenery to be hunting in, I'm sure, but hopefully it doesn't affect your drive home from that elk hunt trip. But probably about what you expect, right around the second, third week of November, I guess, in Montana. Dress warm, looking for the last week of October. Last week of October for the in Montana, Gary, or where? If you're looking at that last week of October for, oh, okay. So the last week of October looks warm. It looks like it's going to be just a little bit above average in the mid to upper 40s from the 27th through the 31st. There at Wisdom, the low temperatures in the mid 20s. So great camping weather there. As far as snowfall, 27th, 28th looks like there's a chance for measurable snowfall on the 27th, 28th, but the rest of the week looks pretty good. So, I don't think if you're heading out at that point in time, then, luckily with those high temperatures being in the mid 40s, it's not going to affect travel a whole lot. But yeah, you get into November, oof, it's going to be chilly. Definitely dress warm in November. Take a look. Take a look at where he's going to be. Boy, that's definitely out there in the boonies. You bet, Gary. All right, guys, that looks like that's about all I have for today. And again, for any latecomers, let's just take one more look at the rest of the weekend forecast. And again, 87 today for the high, low of 55 degrees tonight. It's going to be gorgeous once the sun goes down today. And then for Labor Day, picture perfect day tomorrow. 78 degrees with a low of 53. And let's make sure that the kiddos and yourself has a jacket and a warm cup of coffee to start the week off on Tuesday morning. So again, everybody look forward to that and be watching out for that podcast coming out on Tuesday. Share the heck out of it. And then let's make sure that we contact our representatives. Let's contact our senators, and I might even throw up maybe a little contact list next week, maybe next Sunday during our coffee time. I will have a contact list. Maybe you guys can jot down a couple email addresses that you can contact. Let's try to get that funding back for the outdoor tornado sirens for 2025. So, guys, have a fantastic day. Please be safe. Remember, tomorrow traffic is going to be just terrible in and around all the major highways in west central Missouri. I want to see everybody back here next Sunday morning for coffee time. So, Make sure you guys drive safe, wear seatbelts. Don't forget, as my mama said, for years and years, make sure you leave the house with a clean pair of underwear on. And we'll see y'all back here later on this week. So have a great Sunday, guys. If anybody has any questions, feel free to shoot me a message. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have, especially once the podcast comes out. If somebody would like to see maybe a contact list come out a little sooner, just let me know. I'll get you in touch with the best contact information I have for our local congressman. So, all right, guys, take care. We'll be talking to you soon.